Hi Naz.
Hello, how are
Hi.
you?
I'm good, thanks. Really well. Are you well?
I'm great. I had a malfunction with my tripod, so I have to hold the phone with my hands, but you have to bear with me, okay? It's going to move a lot.
That's okay. I'm supposed to have a special machine here which should follow me, but it doesn't want to. It
Yeah,
doesn't want to. Forget it. It's fine. As long as you can see, that's great. Is your family well? Everybody well?
everyone's great. Everyone's sending all their love to you. I'm staying with my sister. She came back from the US
Yeah.
for because of the virus,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's been great. The work is really, really getting higher demand by every day because the word of mouth is amazing. It's it's just like people are telling their friends, and we have to increase our capacity really, really soon.
Yeah. It's always the way. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. You will double every 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
That's what always happens. Yeah, it's just you're going to need you need twice the storage capacity. You'll need twice the shop size every 12 to 18 months. That's what
Yeah.
happens with raw food because it's so popular. Because people can see, they can see with their own eyes. Yeah, they don't believe you. They don't believe me. They don't believe their vet. They don't believe anybody. But when their dog transforms in front of their eyes, it's an
Yeah.
amazing thing. It's a totally amazing thing.
There are no words for it.
Yeah, it's good, and it's just people believe their dogs more than they believe other human beings. Basically, that's the bottom
Exactly.
line.
Exactly. And like you said, maybe just a few of them have a hard time taking up raw, but 95% of all dogs, of all cats,
Yeah,
just like switch to raw and they're immediately in 2 weeks healthier looking,
yeah,
and especially, yeah, inside as well, I imagine. That's why
yeah,
they're
yeah,
looking.
yeah, yeah. You see it. You can just see it. You just know, but just because they enjoy their food more, and it's easier for them to poo, and they they smell better and they've got more energy. That's
Yeah.
what you see in 2 weeks. There are changes, longer term changes in bone structure and immune function and things like this. But you can see it. Give it
Yeah.
give it 2 weeks. That's all you need to do. Yeah. There was a company
Today,
there was a company over here that
yeah.
had that they did the poo challenge and they said, right, take our food just for 2 weeks
Yeah.
and see how your dog's poo changes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they gave money back guarantee or something. It was
Yeah.
a 2 week challenge. They said, right, here we give you a special rate for 2 weeks, and if you like what you see, you can start with raw. Yeah, I'm not saying
That's amazing.
it was clever. It's clever marketing.
Yeah. We used to do free testers for raw, freeze dried raw, frozen raw, and it was a really good strategy because once they tasted it, then it was just like you don't even have to explain anything. But we have a smaller capacity, so we had like small testers, just like treat size. And but now that the demand is growing higher, we have to like produce and sell, and I mean like send to loyal customers. That's why I can't even like uh keep testers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
because
it's great.
everybody wants it immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. It's
yeah,
a great sign. It's a great
yeah,
sign. It's just
yeah.
this is the direction that you're going to go. That's how it's going to go.
I'm grateful, and I really believe that you have a lot of impact on it too because you're
Bless.
such a trustworthy source.
Wow.
And I think people love to connect with you. Sometimes it doesn't seem like we have so many listeners, but I always like hear from people that sometimes they're like they don't join because of the English, but then they always watch the videos with the subtitles. So
Okay.
I'm going to try harder to translate all of it this
Bless you.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much indeed.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
what do you want?
It's wonderful to connect with Turkey. We've had a couple of holidays in Turkey, and we were just so impressed with the Turkish people, their friendliness, and their just their interest and their willingness. And when I speak to Turkish people, because a lot of people contact me on Instagram, they're so enthusiastic about raw. It's great. So it's wonderful to have a connection with Turkey. I'm very grateful and very proud to have this connection. Thank you.
Exactly. Same here. Where do you want to start today? I'm going to leave it to you.
Anywhere you like. Anywhere. What interesting questions have you or cases have you seen recently?
Just let me think about it. But when I'm thinking about it, I don't want to keep people waiting. So we talked about like just a few notes on cats, because I know you have a cat. Maybe
We do.
like from your personal experience, can you like, not a complete guideline, but whatever you want to say. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cats. So cats are not small dogs. This is what they teach you at vet college. Okay. Cats are really fussy. Yeah. So the average dog takes about 1 day to transition over. The average cat. There's 3 types of cat. There's 1/3 of cats will transition over like that, like a dog. 1/3 of cats will transition over slowly, like 1 week, 2 weeks. Yeah, a little bit. And 1/3 of cats will be months. And a very small, maybe 5% of cats, you just won't. Yeah. And the older they get, the more difficult it is. Okay. So, sometimes you can. Older cats, they sometimes get it. They go, oh, real food. That's what I'm supposed to be eating. Right. I get it. But the older they get, the more set in their ways they get, and the less likely they are to want to go onto raw. So the question, therefore, is how do you take a dry-fed cat, a kibble cat, to raw food? Okay, so there's stages of how you do this. So first of all, you take the kibble cat and you put it onto tins. So you get whatever the junk food kibble you're feeding, get the closest junk food, wet food to it, and then gradually. So you've got to do that. Okay, and that could take 6 months, but that's fine because you're moving in the right direction. Yeah, you're going from unhealthy food to healthier food. Yeah. And then when you're on to 100% tinned food, wet food, then there's 2 methods. One method is obvious. You just add a tiny amount of the raw to the wet food, and you gradually increase bit by bit. Yeah? Yeah. The other method is the 2-bowl method. Okay? And this is where what happens is you because cats are very they call it neophobic. They are scared of new stuff. Okay, and great word. Don't know how you're going to translate that, but you'll find that's lovely. Google will find neophobic, right? They don't like new stuff. So what you need to do then is make the new food not new. And so what you do is you have your bowl. You have a bowl of, how do I do this? You have a bowl of the junk wet food, yeah? And then next to it, you have another bowl with just a tiny little bit of raw food in it, okay? Yeah. And you may have to change that every day for 2 weeks. But eventually, the cat is going to think, oh, that's no longer new. And they might start being interested in it. You make it fresh every day, tiny bit, fresh every day. And then you can start introducing the food, because this new stuff is no longer new, because the cat knows the smell of it, knows that it's not going to bite them. It knows that it's just, it smells okay. It's much more subtle than their super processed, ultra processed food or anything like that. But that's it. So you either do one bowl method, a little bit more, 1%, 2%, 3%, or you do the two bowl method.
I love that one, actually. I learned that from you. I learned that on a YouTube video, I think. I was like, oh my God, this is a revelation, because I never heard that before. It really helped me with my 2 cats, because one of them was really, really stubborn, and I couldn't get her to eat raw, even if I could get her to eat like kind of cooked.
Yeah.
But then with that 2-bowl method and the freeze drying helped a lot because it's the same structure, so it's not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't transition to wet food, I had to like invent extra.
Great. So you went from kibble. That's interesting. So to go from kibble, and I've never really thought about this because I normally go kibble, wet, raw.
Yeah.
But you're a genius because it means that you can go from seriously, because what you're saying is you go from kibble to freeze dried.
Yeah.
And then from freeze dried to raw if they'll make it.
Exactly.
Genius. Okay, that is absolutely fantastic. And that raises the idea that you need to think about the texture of the food. You need to whether it's dry or whether it's wet or whether it's freeze dried. So its texture is important, but also temperature is important. Some cats, if they're used to kibble, which is room temperature, if you give them cold raw from the fridge, they're going to go, I don't like cold food. Yeah. You know how some people don't like ice in their drinks.
Yeah.
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 My mother was one of those. Yeah. She would have a wonderful Sancerre, beautiful French Sancerre wine, and she would drink it at room temperature. God bless her. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, bless her.
She didn't like it wet. She didn't like cold food. So, so think about the texture. Think about the temperature. Think about the time of day that you feed. Some cats might like to be really, really quiet, and so away from the family at night. That can sometimes work. Cats go hunting at night in the wild. And so maybe they're going to be more hungry. They sleep in the day and they're more active at night and therefore more hungry during the night.
That's something I never thought of and I didn't know about. Yeah.
That's how that one works. Because they've got very good night vision. Yeah. Yeah. So cats. You've got to think. When I'm lecturing, I say you have to think like a poisoner. Yeah. Yeah. You know, a poisoner. Yes. Somebody called poison. Yeah. If you're trying to kill your husband, you have to do it very, very subtly, and you have to just put a tiny bit in, and then gradually build up the levels. Yeah. Until they're dead. Yeah. That's
such a funny analogy.
Think like a poisoner when you're trying to induce a cat to eat raw food. You have to be very, very clever, like the Machiavelli. No, like the Borgias in Florence. You know, when they were all killing each other left, right, and centre with poison. Very, very clever. Yeah, that's what you have to do. Yeah.
So we have to make them surrender to raw food without them noticing it.
Yes. So it's like children. How do you make children eat spinach? The answer: you're very clever. You'd be very clever about it. Yeah.
Yeah. You mix it in. Exactly.
You just mix it in very tiny amount. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I think we did a really good bit on cats, and it was like really information that we don't get to see a lot.
Okay.
So I hope that this satisfies the cat questioners.
I think cats. Like I say, we've had cats. I've always had cats through my life, and I love them. It's just that for every one raw cat, there are 50 raw dogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ish, might be 100, might be 20, but there's a lot more raw dogs, and so the dogs are going to be leading the raw food revolution for me.
Yeah, I mean you have so much experience, like more than 2 decades, so obviously you know more, and UK is one of the first regions to be like starting in this raw business, right? So
Australia started.
Exactly.
And then I think that in the UK and the USA were the first.
Exactly. Yeah. We have 2 questions. If you don't mind, I'll read them out.
Of course.
is there any good advice online on raw feeding a pregnant dog?
Yeah, there is. If you read most of the books, there will usually be a section for feeding the raw bitch. Now, if I can find just a few days, I'm going to be doing a video like the basics. I'm going to be doing another hour and a half or so, 10 little lessons on how to feed puppies, how to feed the pregnant bitch, and how to feed puppies. But that's down the line. It doesn't exist at the moment. So what I'm going to be saying there for feeding the pregnant bitch is what you're going to do, and I'm still researching this, but this is a very safe option to do, is as the bitch, as the pups grow inside the bitch, she's going to need more food. Okay, so my plan, because I haven't seen much science for this, is that as you increase the food, you increase non-bony food. Okay. Because then, and by the time, so from the beginning of pregnancy to the end of pregnancy, you probably double the amount of food that she's having. So if you bring in non-bony mince, for example, and you're bringing in liver and kidneys and hide for chewing on and all these things, all the good stuff, and bones and things, and what have you. So you're only increasing meat and organ meat. Okay. So that's the increase. It's meat and organ meat, not bone. So that the bone is down fairly steady, fairly low. So there's not too much bone at the time, because if there's loads and loads and loads of bone, when she gives birth, she may not be able to liberate calcium from her bones to make milk. Okay. Yeah, so there's a tiny little organ here called the parathyroid. Tiny. So the thyroid is like this size, and the parathyroid, is like this on top. Yeah. So this is the thyroid here, like here, and then this is a tiny little thing on the top. So it's a tiny little gland, but it's really important. Without it, like your bones crumble and you get really bad calcium metabolism. So tiny, but very, very important.
Okay, so still they're allowed bones. It's not like not at all. No. But minimum amount.
Well, this is it. But because you've increased the non-bone, you're diluting the bone. And I think that will be sufficient, because when I've done a survey, some people, they just feed more and more bone and organ and meat. They increase everything. And I'm thinking what's probably more clever is to just have a constant level of bone and increase with the non-bone. Yeah, because then and I think that's a good way, because of there are people who just feed more. Yeah, I think it's safe to do that, and there are people who stop bone like a week before they give birth, but I don't know that there's any science, practical, tried and tested methods for that, because for every owner who stops feeding bone in the last week, there's another person who says, no, I just carry on feeding everything, whatever. Okay, but I just think as the puppies grow, there's going to be less room inside, and so the bone, which is kind of bulky within the intestine, if that's down a tiny bit and we just increase the non-bone, that's my current best thought.
Recommendation. Okay, but if when we increase the red meat, not the meat and the organ content, do we have to balance the phosphorus?
No, because the calcium and phosphorus, they will change, but usually the calcium levels within a raw food diet where calcium's quite high.
Yeah.
So that will so it'll be about, I don't know, 3 to 1 calcium to phosphorus, and it will just drop down to maybe 1 to 1, which is you know, Hills would say, oh yes, 1.1 to 1 is the best calcium phosphorus ratio. So you'd actually be in that kind of sweet spot where you so by doing that, because most I'm sure you'd agree, most raw food, raw foods diet have quite a lot of calcium because of the bone content. And dogs do fine on it.
Yeah.
Right, there you go.
Okay, there I go. What about do you think the bone, not the requirement, but the bone tolerance is different for smaller dogs?
Good question. I don't, because I think it depends on the dog. Now, what's going to happen? So let's take a Labrador and a Chihuahua, okay? So Labrador, some Labradors, most Labradors will do well at about 10%, but there are Labradors who can't cope with 10%, and they just need 5%, and some who need 15%, say, yeah? But if you think about a Chihuahua, they've got a smaller pancreas, therefore they can produce less enzyme, but they are going to be eating correspondingly less bone. So I haven't got, it's just my gut feel and just kind of talking to people. My feeling is that the Chihuahua will be the same as the Labrador in that most will be fine at about 10%. Some will be 5% and some will be 15%. And it's just a question of working out what works best for the individual. I think the individual is more important. There's your headline. The individual requirement is more important than the size of the dog.
Okay. So we have to observe and adjust.
Yes, absolutely. So you start maybe you start at about 10%, and if the dog is not digesting bone well, then and they're fit and healthy, then you can just come down a bit. Just put a little bit more mince, a little bit more non bone in there, or extra veg. Sometimes the dog is good at 10%, but they just need more vegetable material just to kind of carry the bone through. Yeah, so it's not just the bone question. Now, there is one thing that makes me think here is if your pancreas is not strong and you're not producing lots of good enzyme, then you may not, that might be a reason that you can't cope with 10%. And it may just be 10% is good with maybe some digestive enzymes, which you can get on Amazon, human digestive enzymes. Very safe. Very safe.
Okay.
Yeah, or contact your vet. You've got a very good vet, haven't you? Who's that? Your raw feeding vet?
I work with Banu, you know her, the holistic vet here. But she works like a consultant, you know what I mean? Because we did a homeopathy remedies together. But she wants me to take whatever, like the X-rays, the blood tests at other vets. I just like compile a file, then I go to her and we just design whatever course we're going to take. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But there are no raw feed, like there are no officially raw feeding vets over here. You know what I mean?
I do. But they can talk to you. You know your stuff.
Exactly, and it's really, really great. I think you're going to love this. A lot of vets, I don't know them. I have never visited them, and they don't even talk to me. They just refer their patients and say, you know, you should go buy from this brand. Wow, that's good. That's great. Yes. That's what we need, isn't it? Therefore they trust you. That's really good. That's because vets can be quite suspicious of raw food. Exactly. So that's really good news. I have a question here. Yes. Can puppies be weaned on 80-10-10? Okay, no, I have one from before, and
Okay.
it's I'll ask that, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
He says, I have a 5-month-old Akita, and he has tar-like stool, and now she poops once in 2 days, but I don't feed too much organ. We are in the 3rd week of barf. So, do you have any like recommendations that pops up, or we can just?
Okay, so 5-month-old Akita
Yes.
with tarry stools.
Yes.
Okay.
And not too much organ in the food.
Okay. So what? So the protein options will be, you've got beef, you've got chicken.
Yes. Generally,
okay.
and the same person also asked. We can just like add the question in. The
Yep.
same person asked, how important is the skin and fur in dog diet, because it's hard to find wild prey in Turkey. Which other foods could be equivalent?
Okay, that's a really good idea, and I've got some good things to show you in 1 second. When we've just had a delivery, so I'll show you.
Okay.
So the first question is the tari stool. What I would suggest is just go on chicken alone.
Oh.
Just for a week, and just see if that does it, and then go on to beef alone. Then you can have a bit of bone in there and what have you. But let's just work out, because that would be the first thing to do. So just chicken alone for a week, and just see what happens to the poos, and then do the same with beef. And if you're not making progress after that, it would be worth taking a sample to the vet just to make sure that the puppy hasn't got an infection. Like sometimes you can get Campylobacter or Cryptosporidium or whatever it might be. That would be, I think that's probably the wise. If the puppy is bright, then you can do the food trial. If the puppy is
not
sick,
go
straight to the vet, I would suggest. Yeah, it's probably not the food, but they may have had an infection from mum way back, and this is just manifesting now, or they ate something disgusting in the park or something like that.
Okay.
As regards the fur and things like that, bear with me 1 second. Just talk amongst yourselves. I've got some amazing things. We've just been to the. There's a guy up in the next town who does amazing treats for dogs. Let me show you.
Okay. We're waiting excitedly. The pet nutritionist. Do you guys just work off the? This is a question for me, right? We work off the percent for the bone content, but we also test the calcium to phosphorus ratio, the nutritional tests, it's like R&D process for me, the creation of the recipes. I just calculate at first, and then I test, and then we settle at the recipes. That's how we do it. Okay, you're back.
Here we are. Can you read that?
Yeah. No, it's kind of blurry.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
How's that?
Kind of.
Okay, no. It says rabbit's feet with fur. Oh, and look who's here.
Oh, hi. Bluebell?
What? She is.
Yeah.
Bluebell's come to say hi.
Hey.
Hey, Bluebie. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Here you go.
Hello, lovely. Oh my God. Such a lucky pup. Oh my God, that's so cute.
She's in season, so she's all lovey-dovey. She's like, oh, Daddy, I love you. I love you. Aren't you? Baby? There you go.
She's a darling.
She's a baby, isn't she? She's really lovely. So there you go. So those are very, 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 very good, because these rabbit feet, they contain manganese and B12, and there's fiber. This acts as fiber. Yeah, you and I eat cornflakes or wholemeal toast or whatever. This is fiber for dogs. They really love them because they're really, really chewy.
Yeah.
And some people think that the fur is anti-parasitic as well.
Oh.
Yeah, the fur. If you talk to the old guys, like the old hunters, they
Yeah.
would give the dog a whole rabbit to clean them out with parasites. Now, whether it's true or not, I don't know. I've never researched it, but there is no harm to giving these things. They love it, and they kind of know from the very start. They know what to do with them. They're very easy to eat.
Yeah. And the idea with the fur is that it just like cleans out the
Yeah.
inner lines of the
Yeah,
intestines. Okay.
yeah. And manganese. When we make raw food, it's very hard to get manganese up, and the reason is that uh, dogs were designed to eat the whole prey: the skin, the brains, the lungs, the meat, the everything. Yeah, and so prey always comes ready wrapped in fur, and that would have been part of the meal.
That's amazing. But you know, they asked how can I replace it, sort of, because they can't find whole prey in Turkey. Do you have any recommendations for that?
Sorry, just say again.
The same questioner asked, you know, since we can't find wild prey, how can we provide the fur-like benefits?
See if you can find somebody doing these. Do you think you could get hold of those?
I mean, it's like whole rabbit. It must be so expensive. It's so exotic here.
Oh, okay. This is £6, which is like €8.
Yeah.
Don't know how much that would be in Turkey, but yeah, I'm not sure. How else would you get fur? There are treats that you can get. You can get lamb, where they've taken the skin off sheep with the fur and wool still on, or the legs of sheep. Yeah. Can you get hold of sheep? Can you get hold of mutton or lamb or anything?
We can get hold of like sheep and lamb, but I have to ask the meat providers with fur, because generally they like tear it apart and sell it for other industries.
What about the legs? Legs are not really much use. The lamb and sheep legs, what they do over here is they take them and they dry them, and those are amazing chews for dogs. So that would be really worth looking into, because what else are you going to do with sheep's legs? There's no meat on them. Yeah.
And ears
down. And ears, same. Yeah. All of that stuff. So I definitely look into, see if you can. I would imagine somebody's throwing those things away, or they're giving them to the guy with the glue factory.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what people are doing generally.
Yeah, but that's a waste, because they can sell them to you for more money.
Yeah.
And make more profit.
You're right.
They would sell them for zilch, like, I don't know, €10 a ton or something, because they're virtually worthless. But for dogs, they're wonderful.
Amazing.
Really. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
That's great. I'm going to look into that.
This person here is saying, my dog loves lamb's feet here in Turkey.
Yeah, I know where I think I know where you guys get it from. Some they're like kind of like local shops, really small shops, but I've never seen one with fur on it. If you have seen it, please write a comment on it. I've seen only like stripped out lamb feet, you know, and that's common, because it's like something we make soup out of it in Turkey too. Okay.
Good. It's really healthy.
Yes, exactly. We can continue with questions if you like, because there are many actually.
Sure.
Here, someone asked, do you want to answer, can puppies be weaned on 80 to 1010?
80-10-10 they can do, but I don't think 80-10-10 is the best thing to wean them onto. I think that just a kind of a quite a low puppy paste. Over here, many of the manufacturers do what they call a puppy paste, and it's been triple, quadruple minced, and it's like really, really, really fine. And they will just put they'll put about a 5% bone composition into that.
Yeah.
And I would say that's a good place to start, something like that. Yeah. Have a look at the puppy minces.
Puppy mince.
A number of the people, Natural Instinct over here, do a puppy. It's a kind of weaning paste. Yeah. It's not even puppy mince. It's a wean paste. Okay. And it's like. But it's a good place to start. It's a good place to start.
I'm going to check it out too.
So I wouldn't go 80-10-10 because then there's organ meat and the bone all in one go. I would go in with the mince and then have bones as a separate thing that the puppies can chew on. Yeah, kind of nice big-ish bones, something that kind of size would be good. And then gradually start with the organ meat separately because it can be a bit rich. Yeah. Whereas if you put it all in together, that's maybe a little bit of a treble whammy for some dogs.
Okay.
But some pups. Yeah.
Yeah, some pups. Okay, here's another question. My 3-year-old whippet intact male has a slightly enlarged prostate. Any supplements or raw meals that could help shrink this? Vet didn't confirm the cause, said possible hormone issue. Yeah,
it's because it's called benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. And it's the influence of testosterone on the prostate. I would say if it's not causing a problem, I would just get the vet to check it. You see how I did that? Get the vet to check it on a regular basis. Okay, like every 6 months or so. And as long as the dog is peeing and pooing okay, then I don't think that I would be too worried in a 3-year-old because it might just be that he's got a slightly big prostate. And he's going to be the same until he's 15 years old. Okay, if it's growing, then there are herbal products you can use called saw palmetto, which could be used, but I think it's best to talk to a holistic practitioner. Talking to a homeopathic practitioner would be a good idea, but food-wise, you're not really going to influence the prostate as opposed to a kibble-fed dog who's got benign prostatic hyperplasia. If they go onto a raw food diet, because raw food is good for everything and it's anti-inflammatory, you may find that the prostate is more healthy and less enlarged in the raw fed dog because the inflammatory effect of kibble has gone.
Okay, so if they haven't switched to raw yet, that's your recommendation. But other than that, just regular checking.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, and another question. The pet nutritionist asks, any special supplements for a dog in heat, either before or during?
Not really. It's a natural process. It's not a disease. It's a natural. It's part of the cycle. Yeah. So I would say, if you're not on raw food, then that's the thing to do, because raw food it's gonna a really good varied raw food diet is the answer to most things. If it was me, so Bluebell is just about to come into season, which is why she's so lovey-dovey. Good luck translating that, lovey-dovey.
Lovey-dovey.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy, I love you.
Yeah,
Um,
like this.
so great raw food diet. That's really it, because that will just take care of everything. Some people will say, "Oh yeah, use raspberry leaf,"
Yeah.
um, and that's one thing that some people do. Raspberry leaf, just to help things flow. There are some homeopathics, but if it's not a problem, if you haven't got a disease, then you don't need to treat it. It's like pregnancy. Pregnancy, it's not a disease. It's just a state, another stage of life, and so it doesn't need treating really per se.
Yeah. There are so many great questions coming up. I'm going to ask you this one. For those who doesn't really know the difference of dried dog food or raw, how are we going to decide which vet says definitely dried and others say something else? Do you understand? It's a little
Yeah,
complicated, but
yeah.
does it translate well? Yeah.
Who do you believe? Who do you believe? Your vet, who's trying to sell you Hills or Royal Canin or Purina,
Yeah.
or the vet like me who says raw food? And
Yeah.
the answer is, don't believe either vet. Try both and see for yourself.
See the results.
Don't believe your vet. Your dog will tell you. So try. If you're on kibble, try a month on raw. Talk to you and get some raw. And if you're on raw and you're thinking, oh, this is such a pain, try your dog on kibble for a month and see the bad poos and the smelly breath and the farty gut and all these kind of things. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that will convince you.
Okay. I'm just moving on because we have so much. A question for cats: does bone affect the or increase the urea level? I give quail bone twice a week. Do you think is it okay?
It's not going to affect urea. You're talking about blood, urea, nitrogen. What bumps up the BUN, blood, urea, nitrogen?
Yes.
Is protein.
Okay.
It's protein that does it. But cats are designed to eat protein. They're not actually. Cats are designed to eat birds and mice and rabbits. They're not carnivores. They're birdivores. They are rabbitivores. They are mousivores. If we're going to be really strictly true, yeah.
Okay.
So that would be. So bones, that's fine. If you've got a 80-10-10 mix with a tiny little bit of nuts, herbs, and seeds, and maybe some supplements, then you're good. You're good, because that's roughly the ratios within the body. If you can get some skin, for the cat, chicken wings, and things like that, that's really good.
Oh, okay.
Really good. Chicken wings don't have any hair though, so that's a shame. So again, if you can get something with fur on,
I'm going to look into it.
Like even get mice. Some specialist shops sell mice. You feed whole mice to the cats. It's really disgusting, but
I know.
If you want a healthy cat, then that's what you have to do.
Yeah, step by step, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And someone asks, my dog is turning 10. What dietary adjustments should I make for a senior dog?
None. When ask that person how they change their diet when they get old. So the first thing is, at what age do you get old? Crazy. Yeah. Some people get old at 21. Some people get old when they're 95. Yeah. Some people get old. Most people get old when they're 70. Do they change their diet? Not really. They will have preferences, and they will just a little bit less calories, maybe. from a human perspective, maybe a bit more fiber. It will just depend on the individual, but don't believe that this business about adult food and senior food. I just don't buy that at all.
Okay. So you wouldn't recommend like increasing the veggie content or decreasing the meat content, or it's just like unique to every dog.
Yeah, no, it's unique. You'll just ease it. Yeah, just as you do with your own diet. Yeah, you don't eat so many burgers these days. You don't eat so much pizza these days as you did when you were a teenager. You know, your diet changes as you mature.
Exactly. Okay, I have a question here. I really like this question. My dog is 1.5 years old, suffering from high liver enzyme and urea levels. How can I adjust the protein level in raw diet? We talked about it just a minute ago, but this explains it more.
Okay, so this is how old? 1.5 years old?
1.5 years old.
Okay, so you have to work out why the enzymes are high in the first place. So I guess because they know the enzymes are high, they've been to the vet and had a blood test, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to make sure the dog doesn't have a shunt, yeah, which is have a Google on a liver shunt, okay? Because that could cause exactly what you're describing. What has caused the liver to be inflamed? So let's assume we've done all the tests and the dog is fine. It's just that the liver enzymes are raised. Okay, so in that situation, I would say, right, how do we reduce the liver enzymes? So what we'll do is we'll just dilute the protein a little bit. We'll bring in the veggies to about 30%. So we go 80-10-10 is 70% of the bowl.
Okay.
And then 1/3 veggies. Okay, we would avoid beef and heavy meat, and we would go with a light meat like chicken instead.
Okay.
And we would talk to the vet about milk thistle products, or there is a product, the vet product called Denamarin, Denamarin, Denamarin.
Okay.
And that will help to bring down. There are other regular vet supplements which are very good at bringing down liver enzymes.
Liver enzymes. Okay. Okay. Since we have a few minutes left, I'm just moving on. Is there anything that can help acid reflux in a 13-year-old bull terrier?
Yeah. Yes. So, 13-year-old bull terrier. So the first thing I would do is don't feed the same time. No, when is the acid reflux, first of all? Is it in the morning?
Morning. Yeah, we have to ask that.
Yeah, okay. So if it's in the morning, we'll answer both.
Okay.
So if it's in the morning, you make sure that they have a significant meal before they go to bed, so that their stomach has got something to do overnight. There is a phenomenon known as bilious vomiting syndrome. Bilious vomiting syndrome, okay? And the treatment is you give the stomach something to do overnight. And that stops the yellow pukes first thing in the morning, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is if the dog is having reflux because they're getting hungry and they're like really expectant for their food, yeah, what you do is you don't feed at the same time every day. You gradually, over 6 months, you get them out of the habit of eating at the same time every day. Because if you feed your dog at 5 o'clock every day, yeah, that means that from 2 o'clock, I'm looking at the clock here from you, so we've got 5 o'clock there, yeah? So from 2 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, they start thinking about dinner. At 3 o'clock, they start getting excited about dinner. At 4 o'clock, they start getting and when brain gets excited about food, stomach gets excited about food, yeah? So it starts churning and producing acid, and that can give you the bleh. So if it's for food. Some people call it a hunger puke, but I think it's more of an expectation of food puke.
Conditioning. Okay.
So try changing it. So you feed anytime after midday.
Actually, the same person just added after meal times. So acid reflux after meal times.
Okay, so it may be some reaction to the food. So go on to just beef, no chicken for 2 weeks, and then go on to chicken, no beef for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And because it may just be that they can't get on with it so well. It is possible that perhaps they're not digesting the fat within the food so well. So pancreatic digestive enzymes can be useful there. The other thing that I sometimes look at, when you go to the vet with these situations, they'll give you omeprazole. Yeah, omeprazole. If you just Google it, yeah, omeprazole. It's spelled as it sounds. Omeprazole.
Okay.
Instead of that, I will give a thing called mastic gum. MASTIC gum. Mastic gum, and it just settles the stomach. Okay. So there's a few things. If you don't know why they are producing the vomit, you just have to try several things. Also, it's worth just adding a little bit of mint herb to the food as a digestive, or fennel or fennel tea as well. Yeah, you get fennel and you grind up fennel, sprinkle it on. It's very good for digestive. Yeah,
it is.
So
delicious.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, we have 4 minutes left, and we have just one. I'm going to take just one last question. It's about cats, so we can wrap the whole thing up. She asks, is it harmful to start feeding your cat species like British, Scottish with raw meat when they are used to be fed with regular dry pet food? Is there any risk associated with it? She asks.
Okay. Cats have spent 1 million years eating birds and mice and rabbits. Okay. They've only been eating kibble for 70 years, probably less, 60 years. Yeah, so you've got 1 million years of raw food.
Yeah.
You've got a tiny little millimeter of kibble. Okay, so I don't buy they are used to kibble. It's like saying, we're all used to chocolate, so why don't we all just eat chocolate all day long? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't buy it.
Or like cornflakes, right? Just like meal after meal after meal. Cornflakes. Just like that. And it's not even that bad.
Not a good idea. Yeah. If kibble was so good for you, why don't they feed it to children or astronauts or to soldiers, or they don't. Nobody on the planet eats kibble, and yet we give it to our dogs. Yeah. Because we're convenient. It's because we're being sold to by these multinational corporations who have teams of psychologists saying, let's have fluffy white cats because then we'll sell more food.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like cigarettes. It's the same. How do we sell cigarettes? I know. Let's stick a guy on a horse with a cat riding through the Arizona countryside. What's that got to do with cigarettes?
Making cigarettes cool, I guess, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, cigarettes kill you, and I think kibble is not very good for you either.
Yeah, for sure. 1 minute left, so I want you to have like a closing note. It says like 2 minutes, and it's counting down. So okay. I'm so happy that you're here. I think this is the best talk we have ever had.
Bless you.
Yeah,
it's great. It's such fun, and it's really easy for me because we start talking, and everybody then joins in. Everybody joins in with the conversation. Everybody gets the conversation. There's somebody just there saying, "Definitely agree. Thank you so much." Great. So, guys, it's just an utter pleasure. I've just done, if you like my
Yes.
mindset, my approach to raw, I've just done a video. It's on Vimeo, and it's called Raw Feeding the Basics. So you just go onto Vimeo and Raw Feeding the Basics, and you'll get an hour and a half of 10-minute lessons on the basics of raw. Even if you have been feeding raw for a little bit, I think that there'll be lots of really useful nuggets of information for you.
Please, everyone, go and watch it. I'm going to link it up in our stories. I do it regularly. It's really valuable. Give your 1 hour, and then you'll be able to make food at your own house, right?
Yep, simple. At least you'll understand it. So you'll be able to have a conversation with you to say, aha, now I understand why you're doing this and this and this. So this is good. This is really good. Yeah. It's all about education, guys. Every day is a school day.
Every day is a school day for the benefit of our beloved ones. Yes, they are family, as you say. And we're so lucky to have you in the raw feeding community. You're a treasure, Nick.
Bless you, bless you. Naz, it's fantastic. You're doing some fantastic work there in Turkey. I can't wait to come and see you.
Please,
I guess
yes.
it's going to only be next year because of COVID. But, you know,